The college football experience, week 9 DFS preview picks and Underdog Fantasy plays episode. The Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code. That's TCE SGPN. So do that, folks, and remember, as always, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Week 9 DFS and Underdog Fantasy plays. YouTube.com/the college experience. Jump on over there because I almost threw something at the TV here with the South Alabama play. There's a flag. Is this for crackback? What is this for? That's definitely a fumble. They're calling that thing down. YouTube.com/the college experience. So jump on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button because we're building a goddamn fortress over here. All right. A fortress. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swigget, Database Dan, AKA Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shout out to Chauncey Billups.
Unreal, man.
Yeah. Didn't have that on the bingo card. Did not have
Mafia
that on
is
the bingo
so
card.
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I knew they were hiding out this whole time. They were hiding out
honestly.
this whole fucking time. I am joined by my co-host. He is also, he is the host of you've seen him on VSiN, you've seen him on Sports Grid. He's got his own YouTube channel, Rob's Best Bets. You should be checking this man out. Give it up for the great Rob Donaldson. How are you, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. And hell yeah, dude. I'm so glad that the Mafia is back in our lives because as a diehard Sopranos fan back in the day, I've always wanted to believe that this is still the edge in society. And it once again has resurfaced.
I mean, this is the best story ever, right? I mean, like, I haven't had the opportunity to do a true deep dive on it because I've been at this media days, but as long as no one died, which the chances are with the Mafia, someone probably did, but we haven't heard about it yet, or I haven't heard about it yet. So right now it's still, but what a headline here. I mean, what a degen too. I mean, rigged poker games. How the fuck does he end up a part of that? That's incredible. And I'm glad. Because honestly, if I had met Chauncey Billups and he had told me you want to go play poker, I would have joined him. Problem was, they weren't happy with my my tax return. This guy's small potatoes over here. But what a storyline, dude. I mean, like, dude, tell me this isn't the best storyline in 5 years.
It's so good, and like, how do we know that they're not getting involved? And they're going in at the NBA, right? Yeah. Georgia Southern football and the DFS lineups have to be in play. I mean, that's a logical next step. Right?
They probably NIL sponsor a whole goddamn college football team, right? I mean, they have to if they're doing this.
Yeah.
I saw. I mean, once again, take it with a grain of salt. But like the report I saw via like ABC was like they had a table where you could see X-ray on what cards were dealt. That's a major fucking operation. If that's accurate, that's hilarious. That's unbelievable. Well, look, we will not take your money like that. We're gonna give you the opportunity to make money. With this year. Now last week we had slides, and I must apologize from the start. We do not have slides because I have been at media days interviewing coaches, and it even like I thought I was going to one conference. I ended up being two conferences. So I've had zero time to do slides, and the FCS show is going to take the wrath on this too tomorrow. But next week, I promise the effort will be back, and we will be kicking ass. But from the start, we will cover the Friday slate, the Saturday day and night slate. This is our DFS show. And so apologies in advance, because I really like that slide angle that we did a week ago, but there was just a limited amount of time. You added a 1-year-old to your life. It mixed with like multiple sports. It's hard, man.
Yeah, and Rocco Miller's in the mix there. You got the WCC, you got the Mountain West, you got Vegas. I mean, I think if anybody's mad about some slides missing, here and there, I don't really know what to tell you. Life is unfair, I guess.
Yes, shout out to the great Rocco Miller. We were just having beers right now. We're gonna have more probably tonight.
Okay, I'm curious.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We were at media days. You run into familiar friends. You're also interviewing. Like, it's just cool as fuck to. And I actually make this case before we dive into the DFS point. I actually think, especially with college hoops, where I know me and you are hardcore fans, and make sure check out the college basketball experience. But and Rob covers college basketball as well, so check that out as well. But these rosters are so transfer based. It's hard to get a grasp. I actually think media days mean more now than they ever did, because you can kind of understand the coach's confidence in their teams. So I feel like, because dude, you pull up certain rosters, you're like, I got no fucking idea. Like there's 12 transfers out of 16, and then the other 4 players that are on the roster played 1 minute a game last year. So it's like, what am I supposed to deduce here? So the media day outlet is more important than ever. What's that?
Yeah, and I will say, like, transfers back in 2014, 2017, even 2019 weren't the dudes, right? It was like the complementary pieces. Now, like, the entire roster is being formulated through people who were at a different university the prior season. Yeah. It's like, all right, what's that guy who played 35 minutes a game last year? What is his usage going to be? Is it going to be 14 minutes? Is it going to be 28 minutes? And then also, by the way, freshmen are still a thing.
100%. You add that to it, and now even worse is they have like the G League thing. They have the Euro player. So like, oh
my gosh,
it has become. I think it's like, as much as I think once the season starts, we're great at capping it, but preseason rankings, I have never felt more. Like I still bet futures, but I mean, it is a pissing contest. I mean, it is like, you just have no idea. You're in the dark with so many of these teams. So anyway, shout out to the chat though, because they're in there. All right. And they're saying hello. Love the stream. Let's jump into Friday night's action, because we do have, so Friday night, there's a couple of FCS games, but of course DK does not offer that. So it's, and by the way, FCS college football experience will go live tomorrow morning before I leave Las Vegas. But you got the big time ACC showdown, the rivalry game, Cal at Virginia Tech, right? Long time rivalry, great rivalry game, regionality through and through. You also get North Texas and Charlotte, another great rivalry game. And then you get Boise State, Nevada, one that actually makes sense. But those are the 3 nationally televised games that are of the FBS that we will be talking about with the Friday night slate. So it was interesting trying to do this exercise with the with these 3 teams, because Charlotte's offense is so bad. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if either of us has a Charlotte 49er. But then maybe that's the edge. Maybe because 1% of them are playing a Charlotte 49er. But Nevada's offense has been through the ringer as well this year. And then Virginia Tech, obviously on the interim head coach, so it makes it a little bit dicey. And then the 2 teams you can kind of count on, Boise State. Okay. But Cal's going cross country. Boise State's like the only one where you could say, All right. And look, I don't have a ton. So let's jump in at the quarterback spot.
Yep.
I have Kyron Drones in these drone strikes at 7,800 as my top guy. Well, actually, he's not my most expensive, but I rostered him first. Did you roster the drone strikes of Kyron Drones?
100%, and kind of to the point of game flow. I actually expect Virginia Tech to win this game. They're obviously favored in this game, but if you look at the 2-5 record versus the 5-2 record, people might be thrown off by that. Obviously,
yes.
a lot of it kind of goes into obviously that road trip for Cal going out to Virginia Tech on a Friday night. I mean, this could not be a worse game. But hey, we got it. It's a terrible slate. I mean, this whole entire slate is really, really bad. But I think this is the most competitive game.
The best game is that Sac State game.
Yeah, we need that. Yeah, we do need some DFS for FCS competition. But yeah, I'm right there with you on Kyron Drones. I think a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and if we can get one more game, I think we're golden, or one more score rather. I think we're golden with him as our starting QB.
Yeah, I mean, turn back that clock, drone strikes. One more.
Yeah,
Shout out to Jeff in the chat that says, Rob, I'm heading to the Cornell Lake Forest D3 game in Mount Vernon on Saturday. Go Rams. Jeff is a fucking legend already.
I love it.
I mean, I'm taking it as he's addressing that to you. Are you familiar? I mean, what's the why is he addressing that to you specifically?
Yeah, Cornell is an Iowa school for D3, and Mount Vernon, Iowa is on the eastern side of the state. I actually am about 40 minutes away from Mount Vernon, where I currently live. So, yeah, okay. I think that's awesome. And yeah, Cornell, they're a fun program.
Dude, that's the best part, man, is like, you know, whether it's FBS, me and Rocco Miller were just talking about that, how like there's so much great stuff out there sports wise going out to but there's nothing like the live game. And I feel like the youth has not been, you know, going to live events as much. Some of that could be COVID based on the numbers, but I hope more people go out to games like that, you know, I mean, or, you know, us right now, there's a Sunbelt game, 31-31 with 1 minute left. It's like 6 people there. Yeah. Why not? What do you got going on Thursday night? You should be at this game.
I always wonder, you know, how much the COVID shutdown year affected that viewing experience. Like how much of that was somebody's college life, that freshman year, and then that set the tone for the next 4 years. Or maybe it was their first time stepping into high school, and all of a sudden the high school appeal of going to those Friday night light football games kind of dimmed because they couldn't enter the stadium. Like how much of that BS ended up just having this like ripple effect that we're still feeling, you know, 4 or 5 years later.
That's a very good point. And I guess I hadn't really thought in that great detail about that, but that might be some of what we're seeing here. Or you're just not used to going to the game. So you got to get back into that. We got to sell that as older people. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of older people, I am one of those, but this guy is not. He's got a great name though. And that is the quarterback of North Texas, Drew Mestamaker.
Oh, gotcha.
I have to roster this guy because Charlotte is so bad on offense that North Texas is just due to be on the field 90% of the game. As much as if you listen to our pick show, I took Charlotte in the points just because it's just a foreign game. Like there's no history here. You're going all the way to Charlotte. They're a terrible team. I think they can stay within this number, but I think Mestamaker still, like in this Eric Morris offense, they just put up yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to. I actually think, like, to me, it's either him or Maddox Madsen, where you just have to load up on one of those two because they're going to get theirs. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you roster Mestamaker?
I did not, and I actually didn't even go with Maddox Madsen as my second QB.
Really? Now I'm captivated on. You went with JKS.
I did, and a large part of that is I think that's going to be the only competitive game on Friday. And if game flow all of a sudden we're seeing the backup for North Texas in the second second half to start the second half, all of a sudden I think you have some longer shots on the board with North Texas's offense, like third string running back, the third wide receiver on the depth chart. to really kind of rake up some yards, not maybe Mestamaker, who goes out there and does 10 for 11, 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, that would be a great stat line. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's not putting up the most points. I think 2 touchdowns is doable, even if Cal gets blown out, 28-14. And I really do think that's probably the most point-friendly game on the board if you're talking about the starters, because I think they're going to be playing all game.
That's fair. Game script could really matter in this, and honestly, in the Boise, Nevada, and the North Texas Charlotte game. I see. But this is why I see. I mean, I find it ironic because I took Charlotte to cover, so I think the game is going to stay just in striking distance enough where our boy Messamaker's got to stay in the game. But I understand what you're going for, and you might that is very logical. It makes sense. So JK asked that as Cal's freshman quarterback. He's a stud on the road, I believe, against BC. He had a very good game. I know at San Diego State he struggled, but at BC, his other ACC road game, he threw for, I think it was like 254 and 2 touchdowns. So not a bad play. If you watch this kid, he's a beast. So especially for a true freshman. All right. Well, at the running back spot. All right. I'm going to keep you in this North Texas fun because this Caleb Hawkins character, he is 100% going to be with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss next year. Have you caught this kid is electric, dude. He's a freshman from Shawnee, Oklahoma. He had 18 rushes for 133 yards last week, but he also had 8 catches for 90 yards. He's fucking Eric Metcalf. We have Eric Metcalf here. Like he's killing it. It's just anytime you get this guy in the open field, game script could matter to your point, but at 8K, I went with Caleb Hawkins at the running back spot. How about you?
Yeah. And I like it. Very similar angle in terms of Charlotte's run defense is terrible. Their entire team is terrible. But I think when you're looking at Caleb Hawkins, yeah, he's probably going to be the one that I think definitively gets his. And if I had kind of that higher end running back in my lineup, I would have added him. I just didn't have enough points. And so I actually went with a very similar angle with Mackenzie McGill, who's also kind of that explosive back. He only shows up when you look at his kind of game by game logs. He only shows up when they're winning by 30 points and he's putting up numbers. And so I think from that standpoint, yeah, I think he's going to get, 13 touches for 100 yards and maybe a couple scores. And at 5,700, I felt like he was a pretty good play.
No, he is a good play. I mean, you look at his body of work, like this is a guy that, he gets, he had over 100 yards when they went to Army. Yeah. He had over 100 yards and a score. Washington State, where obviously game script really did matter because they won like by 1,000. So yeah. He ran for like 8 yards a rush, and then they were like, "All right, dude, sit out for a little bit. We're up by 40." But yeah, no, I either side of this makes sense to me. But I'm going to take you back for my second running back to the that Cal game.
Okay.
Virginia Tech's defense is not what it was under Bud Foster. I think most people would agree. I know this offensive line is not incredible. But Kendrick Raphael, the starting running back for Cal, I just want to key in on the only ACC road game he's played in. It was at Boston College, where he had 25 rushes for 119 yards and a score. He also had a catch out of the backfield as well. So he had a pretty fucking great day. I think he's a little bit undervalued. Now, maybe I'm on Virginia Tech just like you, and maybe like this is just a strange game. We've never seen this before, like at Lane Stadium. So a little bit of a gamble there. Maybe like their offense is terrible, but I still think Cal's got enough dudes where they can move the ball. Now they might not win that game. I don't think they're going to win that game, but I just think there's yardage to be had there. So I am going with Kendrick Raphael, who was the coolest Ninja Turtle also. What are you doing? What'd you do here at the running back spot?
Yep. So my second RB, I went with Sire Gaines, and I think obviously Boise State has a chance to blow this thing open. And because there's kind of that running back pairing for Boise State, I kind of wanted to see almost who was playing second fiddle in the back half of games when they were running up the script. And Sire Gaines was the guy who's kind of getting the late touches, and also he's getting the early goal line touches. And so looking at a $5,900 price tag and kind of keeping all my running backs actually in that same sort of $5,500 to $5,900 tier. I like the idea of him getting goal line looks early and then kind of taking over in volume on the back end, and really just kind of hoping for about like 15 or 16 points out of him, because I think there's other pieces in my lineup that could be that ultimate high upside play. But if he ends up getting that blowout run kind of early in the game, I think there's a good chance that he puts up 20 plus as well.
Well, here's what's interesting. I have a play in that game too. We're going to battle on running backs here. We have the North Texas battle of running backs. I took Dylan Riley, and I think you're one of us. It just is logical to take a Boise State running back. I took Dylan Riley and he's 6,800, but he is coming off a game where he had 19 carries, 171 yards. I'm sorry, he's not coming off the game, but he had a game with 19 carries, 171 yards, and 4 touchdowns just a few weeks back. He is coming off of a UNLV game of 15 carries for 201 yards, folks. 13.4 yards a carry. But I look, Sire Gaines. I actually thought Malik Sherrod was going to be the guy this year with Sire Gaines. I mean, they got 3 running backs. This is why gambling is fun, because I honestly can totally see a scenario. You look at Sire Gaines is what he's done this year. He has games where he pops too. So I'm not going to say that your play is terrible, because Sire Gaines has proven to be good at the same time. And if anything, he's more of their red zone target. But I took Dylan Riley, and so we got we're on different sides of both running back. Hilarious. Did you roster a third running back?
I did, and actually I'm staying in that Boise State Nevada game, but going to the other side. Caleb Ramsauer is, I think, just a product of volume and force feeding that you kind of have to do when you're Nevada and you just are a bad football team. And ultimately, this is just kind of one of those last kind of plays to round out my lineup where I wanted that touchdown. I think it's going to come late in the game, and I don't think they're going to kind of keep him on the bench when, they're just honestly playing everybody at this point because they don't have any other choice. So I end up going with him in my flex spot. And again, just kind of chasing that maybe 1 touchdown game, but hoping for 2.
I mean, he had 2 touchdowns last time they played last week.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
not a horrible play. Now, I mean, you'd like more yards than 39, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, they were on the road, tough.
As offensive line's not going to open up the run game too much.
I did. You know what? Since you're talking Nevada Wolfpack, I'm just going to jump to my guy. I played off the Wolfpack, and trust me, I don't have a ton of confidence with this play, but he's my bargain play for $3,400. His name is Marcus Bellon at a Truckee, California. All right. Okay. Then this guy he's been dinged up. He missed the game, but I think there is a shot. You go back to that Penn State game. Now, granted, that was week 1. Week 2, he also had a decent, but 6 for 76 and a score. He's been dinged up. I think he's good to go. So I think you're finding a little bit of value. Now, obviously, this is my bargain play. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a gamble here more than my other wideouts. But, Marcus Bellon for Nevada, 3,400. You got anyone else in this game?
I do not. All my players are going to be wide receivers the rest of the way, and a lot of them in North Texas' side.
Oh, wait, but I thought you said game script. You must have found a bargain play there. Fire away with one of those bargain plays.
Yeah, let me give you the ultimate bargain here with Cameron Dorner, who has been kind of, again, just the blowout, come in the game late, still receive passes from, assumingly, Reese Profenberger. Maybe they keep Mestamaker in there late. But regardless, he's been coming in games when they're winning 55-17 and also games when they're getting blown out by 27 and it's late in the fourth quarter and he racks up literally 73 yards in the fourth quarter against USF. So in the last 2 weeks, 10 catches, 136 yards, a touchdown. He's averaging over 13 yards per catch. And he's also getting a fair amount of targets as well. Like, this is totally a game script play because he's $4,400. But I really think if you're performing that way late, that means you might start getting targets early. And he actually does look the part of a pretty athletic guy to make plays down the field. It wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden he's elevated on the depth chart or getting more run early. But I know he's going to get run at some point in this game, most likely. And 4,400, that was my bargain bin shopping player.
That is a good bargain bin shopper right there, shopping by you. But that's fascinating because that 4,400. I don't know. You have me rethinking my stuff right now. Because I have another bargain play in the Virginia Tech game. So Aiden Green is a guy that I like a lot, but I'm going to go to the Wake Forest transfer, the other Green, Donovan Green. I rostered this guy a bunch of times when he was at Wake Forest, and he was great. Now, he didn't play the last game they played against Georgia Tech, but the game prior against Wake, he had 4 for 52. Go back to that old Dominion game, 5 for 77 and 2 scores. I see his price tag at 3,900, and this is a guy that started in college football a lot of games. So I'm gonna go in on Donovan Green at 3,900. I think he is actually. I think he will at least, maybe he doesn't get the end zone, but he's gonna get some targets, and that's all you want right there. So Donovan Green as my next bargain play there, 3,900. But you had me thinking about that 4,400. I'll tell you that. Do you have fire away with your second wideout?
Yeah, so my highest price wideout is actually going to be Wyatt Young, and in large part it's just because I think game script's going to come into play, but he's getting so many targets that it's almost impossible to ignore because of the early first half. He might rack up 100 yards receiving. I mean, the last 2 games, 11 targets last time out, 11 targets against USF. And it's just been kind of recently that he's been being inserted into the fold. And, even looking at last week, 102 yards receiving, the previous week, 79 yards receiving. He had 3 touchdowns last week, so he's getting targets in the red zone as well. I like taking that early shot because I know North Texas is going to score. It's just a matter of how much they score until they pull their starters, in my opinion, or kind of maybe take their foot off the gas the way that USF did against them. And so, I am taking a shot early with Wyatt Young, and he is my highest price wideout.
I like that. So wait, is that you have one more guy?
I do. So I actually went to the Cal game, just kind of like you, but on the other side. I'm going with Jacob DeJesus. Last time out, I mean, if you're talking about potentially building on an aberrational performance, 13 catches, 105 yards, 1 touchdown last week. And it was really the only time that he went over, looking at it, over 61 yards in the entire season, but he's been getting steady target production. So I think he's going to get involved, and he's only 6,100. I really liked him getting inserted in my lineup.
And he was good at UNLV. That's one where I actually believe it's like that dude is good at football. So that one makes a lot of sense. I didn't roster him, but I could see me if I turned in another lineup potentially rostering him. My final guy is in the Boise game. The former, he was a big time recruit at Texas A&M. Things didn't work out, but he's coming off a game against UNLV where he had 3 for 96 and a touchdown. Prior to that, he had 5 for 70 against New Mexico, and even in the Notre Dame game, 4 for 58. And that is Chris Marshall out of Missouri City, Texas. They gotta get. To me, he's so talented. If you're Boise, you got to find ways to get him the ball. You know what I mean? He's easily, I think, their highest rated recruit on the offensive side of the ball. Chris Marshall, load up, and that is my Friday roster. You're good with your Friday roster too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, look, folks, before we jump into Saturday's roster, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by us. We are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and the NBA tipped off, I should say, past tense. So subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast for daily picks, podcast, great content. Tune into the NBA Gambling Podcast wherever you get your podcast, and remember, as always, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football, and they got everything else. Their prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head on over to mybookie.ag, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by NoVig. Yes, look, NoVig's America's #1 sports prediction market. And with NoVig, you're getting some of the best prices because they're an exchange, people. NoVig's available in 35 different states. So jump in, download the NoVig app, and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code. That is SGPN at NoVig. Get in on the action with NoVig. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back, and I personally, this was probably my favorite lineup.
Yeah.
Of all three. I love Daquan in here. Love you guys. Random question is who you got scoring the most touchdowns by the end of the season? Damn, it's the hot potato me that.
I couldn't even tell you honestly who's leading in the entire FBS individual touchdowns right now.
I don't know either. It's probably someone from an obscure. It's probably someone from North Texas. Because they've scored like 60 a couple times.
I was thinking something along the lines of like USF, Byron Brown.
Yeah, that too. That too. Look, it's all about who scores the most points, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. I guess because his passing touchdowns wouldn't count towards what he's probably referring to. I would think.
I think he's thinking like running back or wide receiver. Like, man, that's a tricky one.
So I'm gonna give you two guesses at just two. So all three of the top three are running backs, all Power 4 schools.
Interesting.
Well, one.
What about Indiana's Hemby?
No, actually,
because they run it up.
No, but okay. One of them is an FBS. It's Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love is number 2. Number 1 and number 3 are guys getting pegged as like one. Everybody was talking about a Heisman campaign. The other one, offense is kind of disappointing. I'm surprised he's actually on number 1 on the list.
I'm surprised about Jeremiah Love because I've rostered him multiple times. He hasn't scored shit. All right. That's fascinating. Okay. The other one you said was getting a ton of hype. Hype.
Big Ten and SEC.
So Big Ten, the most. Oh, Katron Allen or Singleton, right?
No, Jonah
They're probably getting the most hype.
Leading the way.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And the number 3 guy on the board is Ahmad Hardy, who everybody was like, oh, he should be in the Heisman talks.
Well, they played UMass. He probably got 6 of those against UMass. But
and fun fact, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price have 12 touchdowns and 11 touchdowns apiece.
Damn.
My God, that is something.
Fascinating.
Hey, and tied at number 6 on this list, Mark Gronowski, Iowa. Go Hawks.
Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. Shit, I almost want to roster him now. Look at for Saturday morning. Well, there's this guy who pisses on all of college football.
I love it.
And when I see his name on a DFS slate at 8,500, even though I know Missouri's all right on defense, I just think Pavia, he's dual threat. Now he rarely throws for 300, but he also takes great care of the ball though. So you never really get interceptions and fumbles that often. So I went with the pisser, Diego Pavia at 8,500. Did you roster the greatest human being?
I'm making two different lineups. I didn't on my initial one because there were so many wide receivers on the board that I really wanted that were on like the high end of the market. My number one though, I think you're gonna like this one. I went with Rocco Becht, Iowa State.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I think Iowa State has a chance to blow these boys out.
Dude, I'm on that too. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. I'm assuming you're on Iowa State just like me. I think they're going to smash play this weekend.
Yeah, it's actually my highest individual like game spread bet, and I think it's a lot of it's just going to come down to Rocco Becht and that passing attack, moving the ball forward. Last time out, I think that's why we're getting a $7,100 price tag on Rocco Becht is what happened against Colorado, and just the belief that Iowa State's offense is mundane after they put Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins in the NFL and are now trying to pick up the pieces in this sort of this weird offense that they've had in the season. People don't realize how banged up they've been. I think Rocco Becht's going to go out there, and I think there's a decent chance that he tosses over a 30-plus fantasy point day against a defense that's also really, really good, respectively. But I think
tough
they get
spot.
it.
Yeah, incredibly tough spot off the Holy War. That one does make a lot of sense. I did not roster him, but I'll stay in the Big 12 because I'm going to the Sunflower Showdown where Jalon Daniels has never beaten Kansas State. So I'm going all in on. I bet the hell out of Kansas. You're gonna catch me with another Kansas Jayhawk in a second, but Jalon Daniels 7,600 is my other quarterback there. Did you roster a second quarterback?
I did. I'm going to the Big 12. I'm going to Baylor Cincy, and as you know, because I say it every week, Dave Aranda, the special teams guru who doesn't have his team play defense, is involved in this game. I'm taking Brendan Sorsby at a $7,400 price tag.
It's fascinating how bad that defense is. Let's stay in that game. I like that play. I've played Sorsby a lot this year, by the way. I feel like I've mentioned him a lot on this show, but I'm on Tolly Walker, the running back for Cincinnati at 5K because I know that he hasn't scored as many touchdowns as I thought, and I know they have they throw it to the other back as well, but Baylor's just so bad on defense. I just want players on this in this game. And honestly, I want some on the Baylor side too, but Tolly Walker 5K. So I played him in this game and I have one other play in this game. Did you play anyone else in this game?
I did not. So you can go ahead and lay it on me. Who do you got left?
Someone that failed out of this class very often when it comes to Trigg. Pick Dundee. He was out, but not here. He's repaying his debts because Michael Trigg, the former 5-star from USC, this guy's an absolute dog. Look, I know last week against TCU only 3 for 56, but go back to that K-State game. All right, 8 catches, 155 yards. Oh, what other game? Auburn. How about 7 for 99 and a touchdown? How about the Arizona State game? 5 for 71, 2 touchdowns. This dude is a absolute beast. So Michael Trigg was my play at 6,100 there.
I like it.
Fire away with your next running back.
Yeah, so I'll take you to my highest price running back here. I'm staying in that Iowa State BYU game. And I think a few weeks ago, I was telling you on this show that they were going to try to find some looks for Abusama, and it really didn't come to fruition. Like, he was still getting the same run. Like, I think that week he got 12 or 13 touches, which is, good enough to do some damage. The next week he got 18. This past time out against Colorado was really the hey, we like Hansen. He's a good runner, but we have something special with a guy who can really bust off those chunk plays when the passing attack that's kind of been inconsistent is not humming the way that it should. And Abusama last week put up 32.7 fantasy points, 177 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He was averaging, it looks like 7.4 yards per carry. And because he's kind of still playing that second fiddle in terms of the season long stats. He's getting a $6,000 price tag. I think he's going to carry over from where he left off against Colorado.
Interesting. See, I don't have any extra money, so I couldn't get him. But I like that play just because I just think Ohio State's going to beat there. I think they're going to get to the 30s, maybe even the 40s against BYU. Even though Jay Hill, I know, is a good DC. It's all about the spot. I went with, I already gave out Tolly Walker, but another running back that I went to was making sure this is the highest priced. Actually, my highest priced guy is the guy I put at flex, and it is Sutton Smith from Memphis. This is a guy I kind of expect Memphis to be ready. Now, I didn't take them to win the game, but I think they're going to be a little more prepared and ready for revenge after losing, in such an embarrassing way to a rival. Sutton Smith's a guy, dual threat through and through. I mean, I think he's like the fourth leading receiver on the team as far as receptions. So Sutton Smith there at 6,500. Now, obviously, Brendan Lewis needs to play, but I think he's going to play. He's questionable, and the line kind of reflects that he's going to play.
Yeah, and I'm hoping he does just for the sake of a really good ball game out in the American. And it's kind of criminal that people aren't talking about this game because it really is kind of feels like a precursor to that G5 playoff spot almost, or at least it potentially could be that.
100%. Especially like Tulane's gotten very fortunate the past 2 weeks, so 100%.
Yep. Yeah, but in my second running back that I went with, that was kind of my second highest price running back. And again, I loaded up on wide receivers here, so I did a little bit of bargain bin shopping. But last week I went with Cedric Alexander, who is absolutely sniping touchdowns. We just talked about individual touchdowns on the season. I think Daquan asked that question of, who do you think finishes with the most touchdowns on the season?
That's not a bad play.
Cedric Alexander, he has 10 this year.
Not a bad play, dude.
Yeah. And he's still getting priced at 5,100 because, I get it. He's not getting the volume, but clearly the volume doesn't matter when you're getting those red zone looks and those goal line looks. And he doesn't really have the build necessarily that you would think is getting all those types of looks. But the way that Vanderbilt runs with Diego Pavia down there, he's kind of the guy that ends up being kind of the recipient of a lot of those option plays and RPOs.
100%. I mean, that's one that I'm actually like rethinking my roster on this one too. But my problem is I don't have any leftover money, so I have to reroute the whole damn roster. I'm better off just turning in the second one once I get out of Nevada. I went with Roman Hemby. Now, here's the thing: Indiana they have Kalian Black as well. Mm-hmm. So this one's risky because Hemby's been their main guy though. 90 carries compared to 72. No. But it is a little tricky. But UCLA, I think I think they're in for a tough spot there. So I think Hemby is a good play there, and that's my third and final running back. I could switch to wideouts. Do you have any more running backs?
Yes. So actually, my last kind of player in the running back spot was a $4,300 price tag player on Indiana. And it was at the running back spot where you have Roman Hemby, you have Kalen Black, but because this game flow is going to be so huge here, because I think this is the one where UCLA just gets got, it's just over before it even started. And I think the line's kind of indicating that. I didn't bet it, but I kind of feel like that's going to be the case. And Kobe Martin, when you're looking at the blowout games against Illinois, against Indiana State, when they won 63-10, 73-0, he put up in those outings 61.6 fantasy points in 2 games.
Hilarious.
He's such a fun guy.
They just run it up on but that's great for DFS, and that's why that play. I think he had over 100 yards in each game too. So I mean, that is definitely a valuable sleeper in this slate. Is Kobe Martin, the freshman. I remember Lee Beebe, I believe, is out for the year. Their other backup. Mm-hmm. So you gotta like that. And game script plays out the way you think.
And on top of that, he's already burned his red shirt. So it's not a question of, oh, let's hold him for 3 games. Like, he will get run if the score ends up opening up late. So, yeah, 4,300. Throw Kobe Martin in there.
I like it. That's a creative one, man. No one else is going to have that shit on the board.
Right.
That's how you win some of these sometimes. People don't realize that. Oh, you played him? What do you mean? No one else did. That's why I won. Yeah. Wide receiver wise, I play this guy every week, and Cortez Braham is a wideout that has been with Brendan Lewis for a few years now. So,
yeah,
I think the line reflects Lewis is going to play, and I need him to play because earlier in this year, it would go to the Arkansas game, 7 for 102 and a touchdown. Go to the FAU game, 6 for 127, 2 touchdowns. And last week, by the way, 5 for 83, but that final play of the game where it was out of bounds, that was a touch. That would have been a touchdown if that was just a little bit better thrown by the backup quarterback. By the time he caught it, he just ran out of real estate. So Cortez Braham at 5,800, I still think he's undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who do you got at the receiver spot?
Yeah, so I went with the highest priced wide receiver on the board with Elijah Surratt. If Patty C was here, he would be absolutely all over this play. But yeah, man, Elijah's awesome. He's gonna be a baller in the NFL. He's a baller right now. He's the guy who killed my Hawkeyes on the final offensive play for Indiana, essentially. And yeah, it doesn't matter how good UCLA's defense has looked against other inferior teams in recent weeks. Indiana's a different juggernaut, and I think he's going to get his early.
No, I mean, he is putting up big numbers too. Like, he's playing at an extremely high level, even more than last year with Patty C get going wild with it. So I'm going back to 4,700. I didn't have much money, so you gotta understand my spot here was my final guy, Eli Stowers. He caught a touchdown a week ago. He's the security blanket for the pisser, Diego Pavia. And against Missouri, I think that's actually could be one of their advantages too. Against Missouri's defense would be the linebackers or the safeties going up against Stowers. So 4,700, that's what I went with. You have what? 1 more or 2 more wideouts?
Yep, I have 2 more wideouts, and this is why I think the benefit of kind of shaving off some expenditure on your quarterback position can pay dividends. Omega Blake is obviously a guy we've talked about a lot.
That's your boy.
He gets the targets. He's such a fun dude, just running over the seam, jumping at the high point. And the dude feels like he's just like 5'8" on the field, but he's out there just balling out, doing his thing. And
Road Rash Faces put up 500 yards of offense in both weeks as head coach. Once he became head coach, they have 500 yards in both weeks. I'm sorry, continue.
No, and they're only going to get better, right? They just did that against Texas A&M. And again, I get it. Auburn is a good defense. That's kind of been the only thing they've been kind of halfway decent at this season because the offense can't do shit. And I think when you're looking at Omega Blake and Arkansas and Road Rash Face and everything, the trajectory of this team, this is pointing to a win for Arkansas, in my opinion. And if they are going to win, it's on the offensive side. They're probably putting up 30 plus, and Omega Blake could be good for 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I love it. And who's your second guy, man?
Yep. So my last player on the board actually went to the other side because I think game flow is either going to make this a competitive game or it's going to be Auburn rather playing from behind. And so I went with Eric Singleton, who the fantasy production isn't there. The yardage isn't there. But the catches and the volume per game are there, where he's getting double digits each time out the last 3. And because of that, I like him to get a touchdown, and he hasn't got a touchdown since week 2. So I think some positive regression could be coming in that department.
Dude, I was just talking about this when I was a guest on this SEC pod earlier today, where Auburn fans are going to look back at this season and say, how did we fuck this up? Their receivers are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
It's really just Jackson Arnold's not super accurate, but like their receivers, I think you can argue them as one of the best receiving corps in the nation. But yeah, look, Arkansas gives up a ton of yards. So this is one where maybe Jackson Arnold, or I know they're thinking about starting the kid from Stanford, Ashton Daniels. Either way, I think both will have opportunity to get. Arkansas's defense is trash. They give up a ton of yards every week. So very logical there.
And I'll just say this about Auburn: like Hugh Freeze's thing is supposed to be offense, right? And if you can't maximize a guy who was a 4-star QB with Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys, like he's just either cashing a check or he's just falling on really hard times mentally, because Greg Schiano at Rutgers has an offense this year with Ethan Kaliak-Manis, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it other than that.
That's a very good point when you put it like that. Folks, before we get to Saturday night, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times the amount of money you enter. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stat projections. And what's great is it's available in a ton of different sports too. I'm playing this thing in CFL and other, college football, college hoops, NFL, NBA, you could just NHL, MLB. You could play it in so many different sports. It's fantastic. And look, I'm just going to get into this right now, Rob. I think Kyron Drones, these drone strikes are going to happen Friday night. So I'm taking you Underdog Fantasy style to Kyron Drones. All right. Higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. And, with Underdog, you got to play more than one. So I'm going to go with that. And then Aiden Green, the wide receiver who leads the team in receptions for the Hokies, higher than 45.5 receiving yards. Hell, he can get that on one play. That is my play for Underdog Fantasy. Do you have something out there for Underdog Fantasy, brother?
Yeah, let's stay in that same game with one of the players you just mentioned, Aiden Green. Let's take him to get a touchdown, because if the Kyron Drones is going to cash that 1.5 higher,
it's going to be more, right? It's got to be one of the greens, right?
It's got to be one of the greens. You might as well throw a dart. And heck, you could throw a dart at both of those guys, and you would actually end up profitable because of the 1.25 qualifier multiplier and the 1.15 qualifier or multiplier rather on both of those guys. And so, yeah, I think there's a good chance that both those dudes catch a touchdown, if not one of them. And so, yeah, might as well take a shot at both.
Love it, folks. That's why you want to jump on over to Underdog Fantasy. Get on over there. They also have a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing it in college football and NFL with picks and props. Rhythm's also giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Get this. You track 5 bets of the same type from any model that you build, and you could win $1,000. Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download Rhythm, the Rhythm app there, for 25% off your first month. That's RITHMM. Download Rhythm. Use that promo code SGPN25. All right, we are back. Shout out to Go Beebs in the chat. Colby, you in a hotel from Mountain West Media Days? Yes, I am, brother. And not only that, buddy, I know your name is Go Beebs. I not only did I get to interview Wayne Tinkle, I ran into him, and even before I got the interview, I ran into the goddamn hotel, right? And I'm talking with Wayne Tinkle. He's gigantic and just a great dude, man. And he's kind of optimistic about his team. I think he likes it more than a lot of his recent teams, just from talking to him. So I thought you might like that news there, and stay tuned for a little bit of an interview with Wayne Tinkle of the Oregon State beat. Remember, he took him to that Elite 8 run. What?
Yeah, I'm glad that they've stuck by his side during like all this crazy stuff and the kind of the mediocre-esque seasons, because he's a guy that I think gave a lot to the program and kind of deserves it.
100%. And last year's team was chippy towards the end. Remember, they stormed the court against Gonzaga. He kind of was letting me know a little bit that like some of these agents got to his players, he thinks, before the end of the season, which is why they kind of teetered off. And he thinks this team is a little bit, he's optimistic that this team's a little bit, the glue within the team is a little bit more there than say a year ago. They were playing more hero ball, he thought, and he really likes this team. So excited for that. Shout out to Go Beebs in the chat. So Saturday night slate though on DK. This is, I think, the one where I took maybe the biggest chances. And it's going to start with the guy that threw a shit ton of interceptions last week. I think it was 4, and it probably should have been 5. All right. I love how I'm leading in with this. This is why you should follow Pick Dundee. Give me the guy who threw 5 picks last week. But Stanford just beat Florida State. Now they got to travel to Miami Gardens. I got Carson Beck. I think he's going to rally here. At 7,800, Carson Beck is my play. You look at this guy. I know he had a horrible week last week. But he has had, like, go back to that South Florida game where he threw for 340 and 3 touchdowns. I think you could get a game like this here because I think they're going to be super focused for this particular opponent because they don't want to get embarrassed again. Carson Beck is my play at the QB spot there for the Miami Hurricanes. Who'd you go with as your top quarterback?
Well, I will say I really thought about actually doing Emory Williams in that game, the backup for Miami, because I think that line is so tough.
I think that shit. That's fair because that shit could be over in the first quarter.
Literally, and I was
nothing at the end of the first.
If he was priced under 5,500, he's in my lineup. But you know what? 7,200, I couldn't do it. I was like, this is kind of a out the box play. No, I couldn't get there, but I went with JC French as my number 1 QB.
Oh, that's my other guy. I'm with you there. We're hook, line, sinker there.
Dude, and this Georgia Southern offense hums, dude. It's awesome. The defense sucks, but
no, that I honestly, that JC French, my other guy, he's been in this offense for a while. I actually stacked him with one of the guys. I know we talked about him a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Dalen Cobb. I mean, they have multiple guys, by the way. So, I mean, if you played someone else, no big deal. But Dalen Cobb at 5,400. I've been impressed with this guy really since the Nebraska game. Remember when they beat Nebraska at Nebraska? Like, I remember just being like, who the fuck is this guy? Now, he's not having his best year of his career, but I feel like some of that was their super aggressive non-con. And the more they play these Sun Belt opponents, the more, like, he had 7 catches last week and a touchdown. So I kind of think this is going to play out more and more against this competition. So Dalen Cobb, or I believe it's Dalen, or it could be Dalen, at 5,400. Did you roster Cobb? And if not, did you load up on anyone else on Southern?
I did. So kind of like the other week, I think it was either last week or the week prior when I loaded up on Georgia Southern's offense on that Friday or Thursday night. And I took Camden Brown in that game against Southern Miss when it was a very obvious shootout. He gave me 36.8 points. And anytime a player does that for you, you're like, yeah, I want my chance again to roster you. I'm taking another stab here at 6,300 because, of course, I think this game's going to be high scoring again. I don't care how Arkansas State's defense has looked. Forget about it. Clay Helton will put up points. And I think, once again, his price tag is too low.
I do love that about DFS because I get very loyal to these players. And sometimes I'm like, that loyalty can kill you because, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case here, but like I do find myself, for whatever reason, I get, because the market doesn't adjust fast enough sometimes. So,
yeah. And when you pick your spot on like that underrated player, you're like, I knew Cooper Barkate was going to give me 30 points last week, dude, even though he was $5,700.
What a fucking call, dude! And then he had like a 60-yard play called back. I was at that game, so like unbelievable. That was a great call. At the running back spot, my highest price. So I went with only 2 running backs on the slate, but I'm going back to fading Stanford.
Yeah.
Surprise. Mark Fletcher, their starting running back. I fully expect him to have a big game. This is a guy that, for whatever reason, he's been dinged up a little bit, but I feel like this will be back to him being a breakthrough game. Go back to the Florida game. He had 116 yards and a score. The USF game, 120 yards, 2 scores. He was a little dinged up, so he didn't play. I think he went out in that Florida State game. Came back last week. They only had 8 for 18 and a touchdown, but I fully expect that offensive line had to get reamed the past week, like verbally by Cristobal, because they could not run the ball against Louisville. I think they're gonna fucking run down the throat of Louisville, no, of Stanford. So Mark Fletcher at the running back spot. What'd you do at the running back spot?
Yeah, so I also went with Mark Fletcher and kind of adding on to your point. When you watch these like Tuesday CUSA games at halftime and they get thrown to like CBS Sports Network analysts and they're going over the entire thing, I always find it interesting what narratives they pick up on. And the narrative right now is, oh, Miami's offensive line, maybe they're not built up to what we thought they could be. And that just means they're going to beat the shit out of Stanford because Stanford's basically like the blind kid that decided to line up across from him. And it's just going to be a bad day. So yeah, Mark Fletcher, this could be a very, very massive game in the league, a DFS winner, I think.
Dude, I stacked. So I have so many players in this game. I just need the game script to stay there just a little bit.
Right.
So you rostered Fletcher. What'd you do with the other running back spot?
Yeah, so this is kind of where I spent my most points as the running back spot. I went with Dean Connors, our boy, again.
Oh man, the legend.
He just treats me right every time, man. I love him. And that one-handed catch against Oklahoma State, like, this is just a player that you write songs about, It's like, oh, that dude who looks like a fullback, who's making one-handed catches, who steamrolls over your favorite player. Yeah, I want him in my lineup, especially against the Arizona State team. 6,800, so he's on the higher end.
Oh, man, if I had $200 more, maybe I'll try to reroute something. But yeah, dude, he's a legend in my mind. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he's just a complete football player. I could see him having an NFL career as well. I went with Tennessee's Deshaun Bishop at $200 less. Bishop is starting to come into his own more and more. He ran for $123 against Alabama, just on 14 carries. He had 14 carries the game prior against Arkansas. It had $146. So he's starting to really be a big problem. And I think Heupel's going to want to emphasize him more and more as the season goes on. Even though I know they're definitely more of a defensive team than an offensive team, but I just think there's room for some yards here. 6,600. Going with Deshaun Bishop, who's a Knoxville guy through and through, by the way. Did you roster another running back?
Yeah, so in my super flex spot, I only did one quarterback in the nightcap. And I was originally going Seth McGowan for Kentucky, and then he got listed as questionable, showed up randomly on the injury report. I'm like, you know what? Wasn't even crazy about that play to begin with. Now I'm less so crazy about it, especially at that price. So at the same price, I went with Caden Durham for LSU, and I get it. Texas A&M's defense is legit. It's very, very good. But over the recent weeks, Caden Durham has been getting a lot more volume uptick. He's one of those 5-star guys that they were very excited about. And so on the back end of seasons, sometimes those slow starters end up actually putting up some serious numbers. And also, I know you're against this play, but I think LSU is going to win this game.
Well, no, that's logical based off of the history of that stadium. I just think they haven't looked good this year. But maybe you're right. I mean, I'm surprised I'm against it because, like, historically, I honestly would like to know the last time I took another team to win. It had to be one of those Saban teams to win in Baton Rouge. But yeah, I just feel like their O-line's a little beat up, but maybe you're right. Cause I know they're trying to emphasize it more. I do get that they're trying to commit more to being a rushing physical team. So maybe there's that.
Yeah. And Garrett Nussmeier this season has just looked erratic. Like, he's not an NFL guy is what it honestly kind of feels like. He was billed as that, and he's got some really nice velocity on his ball, on his passes, but he sprays the ball everywhere. It's not consistent. And if there is going to be consistent offense at LSU, starts with the ground game. I think it's going to be with the guy who's getting the big volume uptick over recent weeks.
Like it. Well, not really, because I have A&M, but I can see the logic on it. But I'm going back to the bourbon battle there. Tennessee whiskey against Kentucky whiskey. The wide receiver spot, Chris Brazzell. This is a guy who was a former Tulane wideout. I believe his dad had ties to Tulane there, but this dude just performs, man. 7 catches, 66 yards against Bama. Against Mississippi State, he had 6 for 105 and a score. How about the Georgia game? 6 for 177, 3 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? Ooh, so I'm gonna take my shot on him at 5,200. I think he's a little bit undervalued. So yeah, let's roll. What'd you do at the receiver spot? Or do you have another running back? Did you go through all your running backs?
Yep. No. So just Dean Connors, Mark Fletcher, and then I got Caden Durham at running back.
Right. That's right.
And my highest price wide
Connors.
Yes. Oh, you can't forget Dean Connors. Come on now. But
What
no,
were you gonna say?
essentially, yeah, when you don't like kind of load up at quarterback, I will say it does free up a lot of cash to get spent on that nice upgrade at wide receiver and running back. And so finally, after a lot of weeks of wanting to do this, I can actually do this. I'm rostering Chris Bell from Louisville.
He's such a beast, dude. That dude's gonna be a first. What if he's got to be a first or
Oh,
second round draft pick, right? Gotta be.
I would assume so, just because I get it. His frame isn't something that goes crazy, but he's an athletic dude with 6'1" and kind of that weird, almost tweenerish body that he can body out dudes at that 6'1" frame. And yeah, recent weeks, it doesn't matter who they're going up against. 135, 170, 136, 5 touchdowns every single game in terms of fantasy production. 32, 44, 37.6. Brahms got this offense humming. It's because of Chris Bell, and I don't care who they're playing, let alone it being BC. I 100% want a piece of this offense.
Yeah. That one, he could have a gigantic day based on some of the BC defensive performance this year.
Right.
As a receiver spot, I kind of stuck on the Miami Hurricanes. Malachi Toney is a fucking beast. The freshman, this kid, I mean, 38 catches, 510 yards on the season. And really, if you look at like what he's done the past 2 weeks, remember he's a true freshman. So like last week against Louisville, 9 for 135. The week before against Florida State, or I guess that was 2 weeks before because of the bye, 7 for 107 and 2 touchdowns. Those are his two. He's gotten better pretty much every week of the season. Game script's the only thing that could burn me here. So it's kind of the story of my whole DFS lineup. What'd you go with your next wideout?
Yeah, so kind of to your point, I wanted part of Miami's wide receiver core, but I thought game script might fuck me. So instead of getting Emery, the backup quarterback, I went with the backup wide receiver in CJ Daniels. And he's kind of the pseudo backup. Like he is a starter, but gets a second amount of target share. And over the last 2 weeks, 11 targets, or last 2 games, rather, 11 targets, 5 targets. And he's putting up some serious numbers with 2 touchdowns in those games at $5,300 in a game where they're laying 31.5 points. That's the spread. That's not the team total expectation. That is the spread. If he doesn't land 1 touchdown for me, then, punch me in the face, because I have no idea how else to really handicap that side of things.
No, dude. I mean, I think both. I mean, if they're up 28-0 in the first, do they rest all the starters? I mean, because I'm on Toney. But if they're up 28-0, we should at least have a score each from our wideouts.
Right. Especially if you're saying 28 in the first or even the first half. That's not just Mark Fletcher. I mean, it would be great if it was, but has to be some catch in there.
I definitely have all my eggs in one basket, but I'll take my chances against Stanford here. Final guy on my team. I think this is a sharp play here, and shout out to NC Nick for alerting me to this guy and reminding me. Trey Des, I think it is. Trey Des Green, the tight end for LSU. The past 2 weeks, this guy's balled out. He had 5 for 74 and a touchdown last week against Vanderbilt. The week before, 8 for 119 in a score. This, to me, if you're looking for the edge for LSU's passing attack, because the A&M corners are pretty good, I think this is their advantage. Against the safeties and linebackers of A&M. So
go LSU.
Yeah, there you go. Right, you bastard. That's my team. I mean, who else you got left?
I have 1 player left. He's a $5,100 price tag. I think this is actually my best or my most sharpest play on the board with this late night slate. I'm going to Stanford, Miami, but I'm going to the Stanford side. We've been talking about the game script all along. Yes. You got to go with the pass catchers. Yes. And CJ Williams, dude,
former Wisconsin Badger, right? Big time. It was a pretty big recruit, if memory serves me correct.
And he's actually like a halfway decent looking player. Like, I'm surprised he's actually at Stanford, but hey, academics will lure people in. That's still a thing. And when you look at his last 4 games in terms of target share, I mean, let me just read this off to you, because any other offense, you would think this guy is like an absolute monster, but 13 targets, 19 targets, 9 targets, 6 targets. He's a $5,100 price tag. And guess what? Last 4 games again, 22 points, 28 points, 26 points, 16 points. This is a game with an obvious passing script, like all these other Stanford blowout games. And I think because only the 2 touchdowns on the season, we're getting a decent price on him, but that number could go up and they could still lose by 55. And so I am taking CJ Williams here as my final player.
That's a sneaky good one, because the game script situation, that's one. And he was a big recruit. I want to say he might have been at Alabama originally and then went to Wisconsin and then ended up, I know he was at Wisconsin. Just trying to remember if he was at Alabama for a year. But yeah.
So he was actually at USC and then Wisconsin.
That's right. Okay. I knew he was a huge recruit though. USC, then Wisconsin, and now Stanford. Okay. Shout out to Bombo Entertainment Group. That's my guy. I just jumped on his podcast. Check him out. He does great work. And he likes the Trades play as well. LSU there. That's our show, which is good because I gotta hop in a fucking cab and get over to Circa. But
have some drinks with Rocco Miller.
You're goddamn right. All right, this is part of the benefits of a couple days in Vegas. Folks, though, check out Rob Donaldson. He's out on Twitter at RobDFB. I apologize for not having the slides. I know it's just a hectic week. I wanted to make this show the best it can be, and I feel like it's kind of a casualty of media days this week.
No. Colby, hold on. I got to take over. You put in so much goddamn work on so many shows. You do the slides for shows you're not even a part of. Like, I say this every single time. You are one of the hardest working dudes in the sports betting space that doesn't really get the shine for the grind. And yeah, man, no, not a problem. The slides can wait.
Well, thank you, buddy, man. I appreciate that. And like the great Charles Bukowski wrote, find what you love and let it kill you, because that's what I'm trying to do here. All right. Check out Rob though. I really appreciate you doing the show. I really like this show that we're building here. DFS folks, check out his YouTube page, Rob's Best Bets, folks. You also catch him on VSiN and Sports Grid all the time at RobDFB. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And youtube.com/the college experience. We will be back talking DFS next week. Shout out to and look, if no one's copied my lineup yet, Rob, it's hurt my feelings because I hit for $25 and I've noticed that no one else has copied that unless it was a different group. But one of those days, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was in the top for a while and then it faded out late.
I will say, last Saturday, that noon slate, out of 5,000 entries, I finished 25.
That's what I'm saying. So someone should be copying our shit. We're giving them free money. All right, folks, have a wonderful night. Appreciate you. FCS show early in the morning before I fly back. I can't, because that's the thing with the 1-year-old. I can't stay in Vegas that long, unfortunately, man. I wanted to sit there and party all weekend. And my wife FaceTimed me with my son while I was interviewing Wayne Tinkle. Luckily, Wayne, he's got kids, he has grandkids, and we bonded over the moment. But I had to pick up too because you never know if it's an emergency. Right. So you're like, I'm like, sorry, coach. Hang on 1 second. Right. And then we talked to kids for a while, but that's what, unfortunately, this is my only night. So we got to take advantage. Catch me on VSiN in about an hour and 20 minutes, folks. Till next time, this is the College Football Experience, DFS style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.